Ukraine is claiming that parts made by Indian companies have been found in Russian drones. Ukraine has flagged this issue. On the other hand, Trump says that India, under the guise of buying oil, is actually helping Russia finance the war. The question is, why are all of them suddenly ganging up on India? Today we discuss the false narrative which is being built against India, a whole conspiracy. Ukraine now claims that Russia's Shahed drones, which are attacking Ukraine, contain Indian-made electronic components. Chips from Indian companies like Aura Semiconductor in Bengaluru and a part from the Vishay Intertechnology have both been found in the critical systems of Shahed drones. Ukraine has officially informed the Indian government and the European Union about this issue twice. Ukrainian diplomats also raised the matter during EU sanctions discussions in August. India's response is that it follows all export laws and international obligations. Strict guidelines apply to the export of dual-use items. It's not just Ukraine. The US isn't lagging behind in making allegations. In fact, it was the US that started it all. Ukraine is just merely following its footsteps. A top aide from the Trump administration claimed that India is financing Russia's economy through oil purchases and indirect links, prolonging the Ukraine war. So what is the West trying to say? First, in the context of Ukraine-Russia war, the West is suspicious of India's trade with Russia and its direct or indirect defense exposure. Secondly, the EU's sanctions envoy even mentioned Indian oil refineries for scrutiny. Thirdly, political messaging in the US is building a narrative that India, under the excuse of strategic autonomy, is bypassing Western laws. It is about building a false narrative against India, presenting India in a negative light on the global stage, and ultimately pressuring it to bow to American demands or else face more tariffs and such comments. The signs are clear. The Ukraine drone parts controversy, US comments about India's oil trade with Russia, and frequent EU visits to India all point to one thing: India is now in the global strategic spotlight. India is the world's fastest growing economy, and its role in geopolitics is shifting from a neutral middle power to a deal maker. Secondly, the West wants India to completely cut off economic support to Russia, but India prioritizes its national interest. Thirdly, the entry of Indian components into the global arms supply chain is an industrial success. This directly affects American arms deals. It hurts American business. That's why, using Ukraine as a front, the US is shouting that India is supplying arms. The US is playing the diplomatic game to corner India and to save its oldest business, selling weapons. All in all, this controversy will be used by the West to build pressure on India to tighten export monitoring and impose more restrictions on trade with Russia. But India will not compromise on its growth, energy needs, or independent foreign policy. This narrative battle will continue because India's rise is challenging the dominance of old superpowers. On the international stage, India's stature has grown, and that's bothering several superpowers, which is exactly why we are seeing multiple verbal and tariff-related attacks. If you found the story interesting, please like the video, share it, and subscribe to the channel.